everybody. I am Shawna, and this is my segment, Shawna's Corner. Now, on my videos, you're not going to see fancy things going on. You're not going to see a green screen or I'll be telling you to listen to a video and put it up and all that stuff. I'm really not so sure how to do all that yet, but I'm learning. But you're not going to see any of that. If I show you a picture, it'll be from my phone. If I put a recording up, you'll hear it through my phone or speaker, but you're not going to see any fancy stuff on my screen yet because I'm not sure how to use it. But thank you for joining Shawna's Corner. I tried to do a YouTube live video about this, about 20 minutes ago, and it said that YouTube was unavailable for live video and chat, probably because everybody is doing what I'm doing. They want to talk about what happened with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. And so that's why I'm here today. Well, tonight. I'm a little late to the party. I have not made any videos about what I saw prior to what happened today. And I just want you guys to know that I saw it live today, that Johnny Depp won. The man won, and there's a reason why he won. There was so many things that Amber said that just was not right. And it wasn't just being right. She got caught in untruth. And when you get caught in untruth, you're going to get called out every time. And that's exactly what happened to her, really. Plus the fact you have Johnny Depp's lawyer team. They're great. I mean, Camille, she's a hero in my book. Camille had Johnny. She had him covered. Ben Chu, he had Johnny covered. They did an excellent job representing him and his voice and his truth, because that's what Johnny Depp wanted. He wanted his truth, his voice to be heard. He hadn't been able to talk about this for 6 whole years. Of course, Amber could, but he couldn't. So this was the very first time where he could actually talk about the situation and what was going on. So it was amazing to see that. Plus, if you all know anything about Johnny Depp, you know that he's a very private person. He's not a type of person to let his dirty laundry hang out to dry for the whole world to see. You know, there's some things we didn't even know about him until the trial. You know, he talked about his childhood, his mom, Betty Sue, talked about his father, how him and his father and siblings were abused, let's just put it that way, by his mother, verbally, constant. He explained that his dad never left for a long time because his dad stayed. Because, you know, sometimes in the way of love, you stay longer than you should. And with abuse of any kind, it happens to a lot of us. And I will say that just because I've been there myself, not in an abusive household as a child growing up, but I have been in an abusive relationship, and I know the ticks, and I know the habits, and the I'm sorry, I'll never do it again, you know, you're my wife. And then two weeks later, you're back to getting hit again and being name called again and being called a lowlife and that you'll never amount to anything, that you're not important. And then back to the lovey-dovey. You know, it was a cycle, and it is a cycle for many people who are in an abusive relationship. And I'm sure that this trial triggered a lot of y'all for your PTSD who actually are having PTSD problems. I know that it wasn't that hard for me to watch the trial. I mean, I've had PTSD since 1997, and I have been in therapy for it for many, many, many years, and I am recovering. I'm, you know, the triggers aren't so bad anymore. That's what therapy does for you. You find ways to get over it. But with this trial, I actually could watch it. It wasn't triggering me because every time I saw her on the stand, and when I saw her witnesses on the stand, I realized something. She wasn't really crying. Now, when we go to the witness list that I've watched, I saw that her acting coach came on to witness in her, defense, and she said that she was there. She was hired because mainly because Amber Heard could not cry on cue. And when I watched the whole trial, I saw that she wasn't crying at all. So, okay. So what I got from it was her acting ability can only go so far. She can't cry on cue. But when questioned about these horrific events that she supposedly had happened to her, no real tears. So, okay, she can't act tears, but you can have real emotion and feelings and real tears as a person. She could not make tears. There was none. So that was a big indicator. The other thing is Johnny talking again. We'll go back to it, being in an abusive home growing up. He still loved his parents no matter what. He still did. He had Betty Sue up until the end. I mean, she died of cancer. He took care of everything, and he still, knows his father, and they're still on good terms with his siblings. He's still on good terms with. It's just when it's family and when it's someone close to you, like a spouse, it's very personal. When you have somebody that is abusing you, it's a very personal thing. You're not really wanting to talk about it. You're not wanting to get help because you're afraid of the person that is abusing you. And that's one of the things that really got me with this trial. When we were listening to the audio tapes, and see, I have been listening to the audio tapes before the trial, guys. I was listening to, and I'm going to give him a shout out, and another guy a shout out, Popcorn Planet guy, and that Umbrella guy. I'm giving you guys a shout out because I knew about the audio leaks years before this trial ever came out, because they were doing it like clockwork around 2018. And I heard them, pretty much a lot of them, before the trial ever started. And I was getting triggered, not by what Johnny was saying in the recording, but I was getting triggered by what Amber Heard was telling him in the recording. No, hear me out. Because I have PTSD, I get triggered when people are really, really arguing to the point where somebody's being degraded, because that's just my experience. And when I was listening to those audio recordings, what I heard was Amber degrading her husband. That's what I was hearing. I was hearing Amber calling him names. You can hear things being said back and forth, but I could really hear Amber, and it was mostly degrading, telling him he's nothing, setting him up. I mean, setting him up with those photos. What in the world was she thinking? Because to me, I've been with the same man now for 22 years. I left my abuser in the 90s, and I met a really good man, and I've been with him for 22 years now. And I know what a real relationship's supposed to be. But what I saw with her setting him up with these photos and him passing out and her just taking these terrible photos of him, I was realizing, you don't do that. That is your man. Excuse me. That is your husband. That is your spouse. That is the man you love. You're supposed to help raise him up, not not get him at his worst and show the world at his worst like that. You know, not once did she help him out of those positions. She just wanted to get him in a compromising position so she could take photos of him, and she left him in those positions. And don't even get me started on how she treated him when he was detoxing. That was so wrong. So wrong. But instead of her taking care of her husband and helping raise him up, she was flattening him down, you know, and it was sad. And that's what I saw. That's what I heard. And then when she went to the sexual abuse part on Stan, talking about that bottle, it infuriated me, because something quite similar like that happened to me, but not quite detailed like that. And when she was telling it on the stand, I just, in my heart, and seeing her and not crying, I knew she wasn't telling the truth. If that really happened to you, it would be so hard to tell that tale to the world, because, as you know, it wasn't just the courtroom they were talking to. It was with cameras. The whole world was seeing her mess. And when she goes, I didn't know that the bottle, I didn't know the bottle. And I was thinking to myself, where are the tears, honey? Where are those tears? I just remember the fact when I was her on the stand in the 90s. I remember when I had to testify in my divorce proceedings, and I'll have to say, it was so hard. You can't even look that person in the eye. And that's another thing I want to point out. During the whole trial, Amber, from time to time, would look at Johnny. Oh, she'd look at the jury. She'd look. But he would not look at her. No. He would not. Even Amber's lawyer, Elaine, was pointing that out. And it's like, bitch, please. Johnny told her the very last night they were together that because of all this crazy nonsense that she was pulling, that she would never see him lay eyes on her again. And he meant it. He totally meant that. Because during the whole trial, he didn't look at her at all. Those eyes did not match her eyes at all. So that was a good indicator. But to go on sexual abuse, domestic violence, it's a very hard subject. It's a very hard subject for us women. And the Me Too movement did happen a few years ago. It started up. And I really, truly believed in it. I'm like, yes, me too. But people are forgetting something. And they need to remember it, especially after this trial. Men too. MENTOO. Men too, everybody. Not just women that get abused anymore these days. It's men. And men can't hit a woman back. Men are taught, usually the best men in the world are taught never to lay a hand on a woman. And they're too ashamed to tell their buddies, oh, my wife hits me with stuff and tells me I'm terrible. See, men don't talk about it quite as much as women do, because it's embarrassing for men to actually point out that their woman, their female companion, spouse, is hurting them, is beating on them, is throwing things, degrading them, like in Amber Heard's case, setting them up. It's a sad situation when you have to go through the layers of this trial, because in reality, me being a surviving sexual abuse domestic violence survivor as I am, that trial did not trigger me as much as I thought it would. And only because she wasn't telling the truth, you know. And today, the verdict came in. And I tell you, I haven't been so happy in my whole, well, let's just say I was so happy that I scared the whole neighborhood for my yes, yes, yes for the outcome. Seriously, I was so excited. But I wanted to give you some things to think about here. Okay. All right. See here. Here we go. This is a funny thing. What I learned from this whole trial. Judge Penny is a reminder that no matter what the situation is, patience is always helpful. Uncle Ben Chew's facial expressions are actually representations of me when I hear someone supports Amber. I don't understand how people are supporting her at this time. I mean, hell, in my personal opinion, I think even her own sister Whitney is scared of her. That's just my opinion. Johnny hates Mr. Rottenborn. He's not the only one. Mr. Rottenborn was, his name says it all, Rottenborn. Johnny was never punched. He was just hit, apparently, and hit a lot. I didn't punch you, Johnny. I hit you. Well, in a court of law, what's the difference, man? This way, you're still hurting somebody with the force. What if anything may actually be something? Peeps got 15 minutes of fame. They did. Elaine did try. Yes, Elaine tried. She tried and tried and tried. And even she said she tried, which got me kind of thinking when she was doing that. And she goes, I'm trying. When Camille looked at her, it was kind of like, are you not a lawyer? Do you not even know what questions you're asking at this point? Wondering, but Elaine tried. Amica cream, aka arnica cream. That cream doesn't do jack squat. Yeah, it helps, but it doesn't cover up. It doesn't cover up completely. It just doesn't do it. Number two with this, I'll have to say that the concealer thing that she used, they already proven from Milan that didn't come out till 2017. So how the heck could she use that to cover up her bruises? And then she got caught on stand when they asked her what her makeup routine was, and she goes, "Oh, when I get up like you do. I wash my face. I put tinted moisturizer on, and then I use my bruise kit. Oh, I mean my concealer kit. Honey, it was your bruise kit. Just say it. You used it to paint on bruises." Also, I learned their dogs crapped in their beds, and they stand on bees. My dog stood on bees. It's like anytime she had something to say on the stand, she had to get this elaborate long story of why she's even telling the story. It's really out there most of the time. But we all know a dog, a little Yorkie, is not going to do a full big pile of poop that was in his bed. So Amber's always going to be known for the girl that pooped in her husband's bed. I wouldn't want to be known by that. Out of all things, no, not me, anyway. What else I learned? Camille is a human version of the lie detector test. True. You see her giving her questions. Do you see Camille go, man? They used Camille to question Amber and Whitney because Camille badass. I'm just saying. If I ever get in trouble and have a lot of money, I'm gonna hire his firm. Johnny is very proud when Mr. Rottenborn reads right. I mean, when Rottenborn was questioning Johnny on the trial, and he was giving them all those bad publicity media magazine headlines to read. Isn't that hearsay? I mean, seriously, isn't a celebrity magazine mostly hearsay? I mean, that part was really stupid. Also, Amber doesn't swell. She doesn't swell up. She said she doesn't swell. Give me a break. You're not superhuman, Amber. Yes, if somebody clocked you in the face and broke your nose, you would swell and bruise. You're not a superhero, honey. You just played one in a movie. Dr. Curry has goals. She does. I've even got my black glasses on like she does. Not because she didn't need it, but I'm blind without mine. But puts women with glasses back to being cool again, I say. Mega pint is my new favorite term when referring to a need for coffee or any beverage. Yep, I even have my mega pint right here, and I'm going for it real soon because I have some celebrating to do. Also, objection, hearsay. That was used an awful lot in this trial. Also, Amber Heard is the only person to cry without tears, as I said, and will get rid of the invisible tears by wiping her forehead. Oh, and what about her wiping her nose and then looked like she was giving herself a bump? It looked like she was doing drugs while she was, blowing her nose. It was really weird. And what about that bottle she had? She had 2 bottles. She had water on her every day, and then she had this steel bottle with a cap. And I noticed every time a 5-0 or police officer would walk by her, she would take that bottle and hide it. Does she have an alcohol problem? Question to be known there. Also, last but not least, Amber wrote the op-ed, okay? And that was an oops moment, though, that she did on stand. So don't tell anybody. But it doesn't matter because, well, she lost. She only won one little part of the case, and she's only getting $2 million for that. According to what the jury found out, Johnny gets $15 million, everybody, and Amber Heard gets $2 million. Well, if I was her, I would just write Johnny Depp a IOU, tell him to keep his $2 million, and then say I owe you $14 million. No, I owe you $13 million. That's what she should be doing. To see, if she owes him $15 million for damages, and he owes her $2 million for damages, okay? She don't have no money to be giving him. So what she need to do is she need to write him to her lawyers, of course, maybe Elaine or Rottenborn or whoever, and tell him, you keep that $2 million, I owe you 13, and then move on with her life. And she need to get counseling because that is very important. It is. With somebody that has the problems that I've seen and what I've heard from what the psychiatrist saw and said on the stand, she really needs some help, guys. She totally needs some help. There's something really wrong with her to cry wolf and fake all this stuff for money and attention. And I read also in another interview online that people are saying that her friend telling people that she's pure lesbian, folks. I mean, her first marriage was with a woman, and she's a lesbian. And the only reason why she dates all these rich men is to use them for their money. That kind of makes sense to me. Because wasn't all Amber's friends and family freeloading off of Johnny? Weren't all these people that Amber knew, these leeches, weren't they all living in his penthouses? Rent-free? Whoa. That's something, guys. I don't know anybody ever that would let that happen. Of course, Johnny is rich. He has money. He can do that. He had 5 penthouses there. But to have a heart like that, to give all your penthouses to friends and families of Amber's, nobody else around Johnny that knew Johnny, that loved Johnny, was there except for that painter guy and his bodyguard. I mean, wow. Just wow. You know? I mean, if this trial has taught me anything, it's don't always believe what you hear. Seriously. You need proof. You need proof. And the only reason why Johnny had to do this defamation trial in the first place is because he needed to tell his truth. He knew that as soon as the cameras started rolling, people would know that Amber Heard wasn't in her right mind and that she was lying and her witnesses were lying. And you could see that, guys. I'm looking directly at you. You can see it. It happens live every day. Well, not really every day, but it's been every day on social media and on YouTube. It's been going on for a month and a half. And it's been a wild ride, I will say that. But it made me realize something. It made me realize that men are also victims of domestic violence. They surely are. Because there's some women walking on this earth that need some help. There's something wrong with them. They're broken. They got to go get help. And these men don't know how to deal with them. And that's the truth, guys. That's what I believe. But anyways, I mean, other things that are so funny is that I will read to you the verdict. Johnny won, of course, today. I was so excited for that, guys. Amber is ordered to pay $15 million, as I said. However, Johnny was ordered to pay $2 million. And this is something you all need to remember. This is the day you will remember you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow. Almost. Not quite. Because he's off to London now. He's been there for a while. He's been playing with Jeff Beck, having a good old time, you know. He got backstage with Kate Moss and Sharon Osbourne. He's getting out and about. He's getting on with his life. And now that he's won, I think he's going to do even more. And I personally think that Disney needs to give him a formal apology because they messed up. Oh, yeah, they messed up. They messed up so much because of the fact they judged him before there was even a trial. And they're going to have to say they're sorry. Also, J.K. Rowling with the Fantastic Beasts franchise. I think she needs to say she's sorry, too. There's a lot of people that owe Johnny Depp an apology. A lot. He deserves it. Absolutely. With all this stuff that happened, he absolutely deserves an apology. Now, I hope I can read this, but at 3:25 p.m. today, after all the trial was over, Johnny made a statement, and I have it right here. But, I mean, before I go there was 2 other things I wanted to mention. I wasn't quite sure about, but now I'm going to tell you. One, they were videotaping Amber Heard, of course, and she's writing. While Johnny and them witnesses are on the stand, she's writing. And when the camera went down low on her paper, she was writing nothing. It was just nothing. She wasn't even scribbling. The pen was not even touching the paper. The pen was not even touching the paper. Who does that? Who? Also, the thing that I found was that when she was on stand talking about how that she hadn't done cocaine since she was 19, 20 years old. Lie. I mean, her best friend at the time was on the stand saying, "Yeah, I saw her doing coke all the time. We did coke together. No big deal. There's always coke." So it's like the pot calling the kettle black. You know what I'm saying? The thing that got me was she seemed to me to be close to being a true narcissist. Her, because narcissists they're always the victim. They're always gaslighting. They're never telling the truth. If something bad happens to them, it's always everybody else's fault. It's not their fault as a human being. And she perceived herself that way on stand. You know, it was uh, everybody's fault but hers. She didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, it's all them. It's all them. So that was something too. You could just see through her. And there are a lot of people like that in the world. You gotta watch out for them. They can just see through you. They know how to push your buttons. They know how to hurt you where it counts. And when they find how to hurt you where it counts, that's when the games begin with them. And I think that's what happened between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Once she found out all about his childhood, his past, things like that, she she could use those things against him. It was time for her to play her game. And she thought she'd get away with it too. But she didn't. Because today, he won. And I know I only have Elvis Presley behind me, but you guys have to understand something. I am a Elvis Presley freak. That's my thing. Even my network is the Elvis GCB network. So I just thought I'd tell you if you guys are wondering why I have Elvis here and I'm talking about stuff that have nothing to do with Elvis. Well, this is Shawna's Corner, where I talk about things that are on my mind that isn't always about Elvis Presley. But don't worry, on Friday I'll be back with my Elvis shows on Friday, okay? Wednesday is a way for me to relax, to, you know, touch base with other things that happen, in the world besides Elvis related stuff. All right? So here was Johnny Depp's statement at 3:25. 6 years ago, my life, the life of my children, the lives of those closest to me, and also the lives of the people who many, many years have supported and believed in me were forever changed. All in the blink of an eye. False, very serious, and criminal allegations were leveled at me via the media, which triggered an endless barrage of hateful content. Although no charges were ever brought against me, it had already traveled around the world twice within a nanosecond, and it had a seismic impact on my life and my career. And 6 years later, the jury gave me my life back. I am truly humbled. My decision to pursue this case, knowing very well the height of the legal hurdle, excuse me, that I would be facing and the inevitable worldwide spectacle into my life, was only made after considerable thought. From the very beginning, the goal of bringing this was to reveal the truth, regardless of the outcome. Speaking the truth was something that I owed to my children and to those that have remained steadfast in their support of me. I feel at peace knowing I have finally accomplished that. I am and have been overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and the colossal support of kindness from around the world. I hope that my quest to have the truth be told will have helped others, men or women, who have found themselves in my situation, and that those supporting them never give up. I also hope that the position will now return to the innocent until proven guilty, both within the courts and the media. I wish to acknowledge the noble work of the judge, the jurors, the court staff, and the sheriff who have sacrificed their own time to get to this point, and to my diligent, unwavering legal team who did an extraordinary job in helping me to share the truth. The best is yet to come, and a new chapter has finally begun. Veritas non perit. Truth never perish. Johnny Depp. And that was his statement after all happened. Then Amber made a statement. And to be fair, I'll read hers too. The disappointment I feel today is beyond words. I am heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband. I'm even more disappointed with what this verdict means for other women. It is a setback. It set back the clock to time when a woman who spoke up and spoke out would be publicly shamed and humiliated. It sets back the idea that violence against women is to be taken seriously. I believe Johnny's attorneys succeeded in getting the jury to overlook the key issue of freedom of speech and ignoring evidence that was so conclusive to what we won in the UK. I'm sad I lost this case, but I am sadder still that I seem to have lost a right I thought I had as an American to speak freely and openly. Well, Miss Amber, you can speak freely and openly all you want, but when it comes to ruining a man's life from lying, that's another story. That's another story. When you lie and take away someone's livelihood, not a very good thing. It also makes you look bad too. I don't know if I'll ever see her in a big film again. I mean, I think Aquaman is probably the last thing I'll ever see her in. I don't know about you guys. Tell me in the comments below, because I really think her career's probably over. And because of Johnny Depp's win, here's my makeup hat. Tonight I decided to go with Blackwell Jamaican rum, 1625. Now that's a mega pot. We're going to have a little party here because Johnny Depp won. And I'm filling that up as far as I can go there. All righty. That stuff good. I picked rum because, I just love Jack Sparrow. And talking about Jack Sparrow, do you all think that Disney will apologize to him and give him his role back? Because I know he said on stand that for $300 million and 1,000 alpacas, he would say no. Just because the way they treated him, the way they hurt his feelings, they judged him without trial. They said he was guilty before he could even, argue his case. I think it's pretty bad. They should apologize. Let's see what else I have here. There's a lot of people that have been chatting up with me for the last few days, talking about Johnny and whatnot. I'll tell you straight up, there is more love for Johnny on social media than there is for Amber. I'll say it. I've been looking around Facebook for a really long time, and I started looking for Johnny Depp groups, and I found this one that was Justice for Johnny Depp. And of course, when I get passionate about a cause, I go way out. So I wrote an article, or a few articles, and then they made me a moderator. So now I'm a moderator to this Justice for Johnny Depp group, and I really love it. Just the love and outpour for Johnny Depp is amazing. Plus, we got all the stuff that was happening during the trial in the group, so we got lots of things in this group that has helped a lot of people uh, basically figure out what the heck's going on, because it's been on for a month and a half, but sometimes people miss the show, not really show, but sometimes people miss the trial. They have to work, things happen, so they'll come to Justice for Johnny Depp group and scroll down and find, what's going on. Right now, everybody is just delighted that Johnny Depp won. I mean, he won his libel case, and that's important to him. His truth, his life is important. His word is important. So when people go running around lying about him, it's very sad, because your truth is getting clouded. When somebody tells people lies about you, and let's just put it this way: if somebody tells lies about you, and you're a very straight up person, they are basically hurting you as a person, because people believe things that they're told. They do, and it's a known fact. So the only reason why Johnny did all this is because he wanted to tell the world his truth. He held it inside for 6 years. And if anybody knows about Johnny, like I do, and his fans out there, then you would know he's a very private person. This doesn't just happen. We learned things about Johnny during this trial from his childhood and whatnot that nobody knew before. He opened himself up like a book for us to read, and we read that he was innocent. Granted, he never hid the fact he was a drug addict. He's in recovery. We all knew that. We all knew he goes a little overboard when it comes to drink. We know he went a little overboard when it comes to drugs, but he didn't hit any of his ex-girlfriends or his ex-wife. And he was married first in 1984, 1985-ish, when he was young. None of that was said. Every girlfriend he ever had, even the mother to his children, said he didn't even raise his voice. And then you have whatever Amber was saying, which was the only person in his history that said he was abusive. Well, there you go. Normally there's a history there. Normally there's somebody there, an ex somebody. There's somebody there. There's history there. You just have to find it. But anyways, guys, I really enjoyed talking to you about this. I know you've already watched the trial. You already know what all went on. I explained to you a few things. This is just my corner, so you can see what's going on right here in my mind. And I wanted to be able to tell you what was on my mind for the last month and a half, this trial. And I'm really glad for my debut show of Shawna's Corner. I'm really glad I could do it on the day that Johnny Depp won his defamation trial. So, woo! Cheers, my mega pint to all y'all. Johnny won, man. Johnny won. But okay, everybody, I hope Johnny goes back into the movies. I hear that there's some movie roles that have his name written all over it. People saying that he might be in the Beetlejuice 2 with Winona Ryder and Michael Keaton. I'm crossing my fingers. Tim Burton is producing it, so you never know. Tim Burton loves our Johnny. I also heard that he might be in another movie about French King Louis, the something, with the white curls. That would be interesting. He'd have to get in role for that one. That would be really interesting. But who knows? The future is all open to Johnny now, and I think the world owes him an apology. All right, everybody. I thank you guys for giving me your time. Please write in the comments what you thought of the show. I will get back to you as soon as I can. I am so sorry I couldn't go live tonight like I planned because YouTube Live was unavailable. I guess everybody was trying to do what I'm doing. I guess everybody wanted to go live tonight to talk about Johnny Depp, so I could not get on. I tried. My YouTube person helped me, and we still couldn't do it. So YouTube is down when it comes to live chat and video, so I had to pre-record. But it's all right. I like touching base with all of my fans and all the people that are a part of my network. I appreciate your time. Thank y'all for giving me whatever time this was. I don't even know how long I've been talking. Sometimes it's really fun. I ramble on. But God bless y'all. TCB, TLC, God bless y'all, and I'll meet you on the other side. And thank y'all for joining me this evening, okay?